Right, so welcome back for episode 3 of the CR125 build. Now, we do have a fair few things to do in this video. This is going to be one of the last couple videos. We've got brake pads, brake lines, chain and sprocket system, whole shot device, radiator cap, air filter, and then we've also got these Dunlop MX34s to go on there, and then we're going to throw all the old plastics back on and get it ready to rip. Alright, game plan. What we're going to do is we're going to do air filter, brake lines, brake pads, and then we're going to take the wheels off and the front suspension. We're going to put new chain and sprocket system on the rear end, some Dunlop MX34s, and then front and rear tyre, and then we've just got to rebuild the suspension. After that, that should be most of the parts, and we can start reassembling. So we're just going to do a quick little pickup because it is a mess. And then we're going to get into the brake lines and brake pads. Alright, so workspace, all clean. Now we're going to do this bloody old brake line that is leaking. So we're going to have to take the old brake line off, replace it, bleed it all out and get it working good. Then we're going to do the brake pads and then we're going to do the front. Okay, so here are our brake lines. That one there is the front brake line and that there is the rear brake line. Now, got this in town yesterday. Whoop, wrong way. We've got some brake and clutch fluid .4. We do have 2 bottles of it, so we shouldn't run out. Now we're going to take this old brake line off. Alright, so new brake line's on. It's all bled out, so it is super bloody firm. Super nice. It's nice and tidy back up in there, as you can see. It's all secure. Yeah, now we're going to move on to the front. Alright, so that's the new brake line. We've still got to put it on. So we're going to take the old brake line off, take it apart, and then we're going to throw the new brake line on and bleed them all out and get it nice and firm again. So just like that. Bam! Out the old, in with the new. She actually looks really good on there. So it's all bled. It's ready to go. Bottom side, we gave a little clean up. I do have it zippy tied back to the fork and then the bar pad, just because it was all curled up in a packet. Throw that over there. It was like bent, so I've just got it half molding, I guess you'd say. But soon enough, I'll get the fork guards on there once we rebuild the front suspension, and then obviously the front number plate, which will hold it in place nicely. Alright, but anyways, next up, we're going to take the wheels off. So we've got to tidy up this mess, get a jack stand under there, and then we're going to take the wheels off, throw some fresh brake pads in, and throw the wheels, chain and sprocket on. So I've got a Super Sprox red one, just like that, a gold chain and then a Super Sprox front sprocket. So they're going to look really good. MX34s, front and rear, and then for the front, nothing special, we've just got to throw brake pads in. So once we get all the wheels, chain and sprocket done, we do have a couple little things left to do. We've got to rebuild the forks and do the brake pads. But after that, really, there's not too much left to do. We do have a couple more parts coming. Just like, so radiator guards, chain slider, that little mud flappy thing, and then I'm getting seat cover and graphics, which I've got posted on my Instagram if you want to go have a look at what vibe we're going for. Shout out to MX and Graphics for doing those. They look absolutely sick. But after that, really, we'll take the wheels off now and rebuild the suspension. And then that's nearly most of the major stuff. Alright, so bike's jacked up, area's cleaned off to the side. Let's get this back wheel off. Oh yeah, that's on there. She's crusty, look at that. Alright. Meet you back when I got this back wheel off. Rear wheel is off, time for the front. Bam! Both wheels are off. It's pretty much just bare. Sad to see, but anyways. Yeah, so we're going to swap these tyres out. Sprockets, chains, everything while we're going. See if I can grab these one-handed. Everything fell, but anyways. That there is our tyres for them too. So we'll get to putting them on now. Bam, just like that. Front tyre's done. All pumped up, holding there nicely. Next up we go do the back. Alright, so before we go changing this tyre, we're going to change this sprocket. Now, I'm not actually sure what size Allen key that is, but the nut on the back hand side, I'm not sure if you can see it there, but it should be a 14mm. So we're going to get that sprocket off, then I have to move some stuff. But that's our new one from Super Sprox, and then we've got the RHK O-ring race chain that's gold, and then we've got a Super Sprox front sprocket there, which is also going to go on. So we're going to take this sprocket off now, and once that's off, we'll do the sprocket and chain on the bike, and then we'll change the tyre. Out the old, in with the new. So it's a Super Sprox aluminium bloody sprocket. I don't actually know how many teeth it is, so I'll open it up. I'll tell you. So here we go. Alright, so it is a 52 tooth Super Sprox sprocket. Holy, that looks good. It's gonna go real good on there. Now, we got stickers. 1 second. Shout out Super Sprox for the stickers. I have to take these two. This is gonna be tricky with one hand. Alright, I'll meet you back when I got the sticker on the tool. There we go. She's on. And still got one more. Add that to the sticker collection there. So now, I'm going to have to run into town and grab some more of these Allen key bolts because I don't particularly want to reuse them seeing as they're 18-year-old bolts. Like, look at how crusty that looks. Anyways, we're going to run in, we got to grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more, and then we're going to have that there new sprocket on. So what we can do in the meantime is get that front sprocket out and take the chain off, and then that's going to be, the sprocket's pretty much done. Then we can get the tyre changed. Alright, so it's a 12mm stocket, I've got it here. We're going to knock it down into first gear. There we go. And then we are going to... Holy, that's on there. Alright, well, I'm going to have to figure out how to get this off. So I'll meet you back once I got the sprocket off. Alright, so we cracked it loose. Now, we'll also get another one of these bolts in town, just so it's not rusty. Alright, so we've got bolt, smaller washer, bigger washer. Those can go down there for the minutes. Now, pop our chain off, if I can. We got the old sprocket, old front sprocket is off. Now, there should still be the original front sprocket from it. As you can see, there's not much wear, they're not even sharp. So, just tells you how good this bike is. Anyways, we're going to get the new front sprocket and sit it on there, just have a look. And then we're going to get the bolt and the washers in town. Anyways, this is the new chain slider. It's going to look so much better than that old one. It actually has bugger all wear from it being stock, except it is broken there, unfortunately. Other than that, I was going to leave it, but just the fact that it's broken there needs replacing. So we're going to take the Phillips head bolts off, and then we're going to swap it out. And just like that, the brand new chain slider's on. That looks so bloody good. It all sits in there nicely. Looks good. I love it. Anyways, next up, we're going to go into town. We've got to get this bolt here and these washers. And then we've also got to get that bolt, and we've got to replace that regular washer for a locking washer. And then we're also going to see if they've got these Allen key bolts, but they're pretty good. Alright, so I couldn't get the bloody back tyre off of the rim. So I've taken it into town, and the tyre shop in there is going to do it for me. So while we wait for it to get back, we do actually have a fair few more parts to put on still. I reckon what we're going to do is, I also got this unbreakable clutch, so we're going to throw it on. We're going to do the brake line, carby hose, brake pads, oil plugs, and mud flap, just to get started until we get the tyre back, so we're not sitting around doing nothing. But once we get all this done, that should be the bulk of the parts. Okay, so it's that bolt there that comes out. Usually there is a nut, but there's no nut on this one. So that bolt comes out, then you disconnect the cable from the lever, and you put the new one on. So it's a 10mm socket on this. And that's that there. It is a special tapered looking bolt, so we do have to keep that. We'll keep it there. But I'll just see if I can get this rubber piece back. But if you've ever seen the clutch levers before, they are pretty simple to replace. It's looking like I'm going to have to peel the mudguard down to do it. So I'll take the mudguard down and then I'll get to the lever. Alright, so mudguard's down. Now, as you can see, that part there is the cable, like the little knob on the end. So what you've got to do is your lever sits in there like that. You pull the lever out, twist it upside down, and then, if I can do this one-handed, you got to pull it around sort of, so that cable is lined up, and then bam, it's popped out. So that's just a look at the old crappy stock lever, and then I'll be putting an SPP unbreakable lever on there. I run these on the 150. I absolutely love them. Super adjustable for comfort and everything else. So we're going to unbox this and throw it on quickly, and then once this is on, we're going to get into the carby hose. Okay, so we've got the new lever here, SPP. Now it has an adjustable point here to make how far your lever is, so I can run it like that, or else I can get it like that, which I'm going to adjust this out because I do have really long fingers. It's just more for comfort for me. But anyways, we'll move the camera a bit closer here. Now it's the exact same way putting it in than it is taking it out. That little bulb there, the little dog bone looking thing, it just slips straight back in there. If I can do it one-handed again, jeez. There we go, slips in there. And then you just got to get a bit of slack and you roll it around like that. And then you hook it in. So there's actually the lever installed. Now, see how close it is there? Like, if we're looking at it from the top here, it only goes to like half my finger length. So I'm going to extend it right out till I'm comfortable with it and it's where I want it. So we're going to reattach the, put the bolt in there, fold the mudguard up and adjust it out to how I want it. Alright, so mudguard back up there, got to flip that rubber piece back over, but that's what it looks like. I reckon it looks really cool. But I've loosened this nut here off, the bolt and nut, and then basically you just extend it out to wherever you want. Just feel it as you're going along like that there. I'll go a bit further, so you gotta fold it out and then wind. Go again. There we go. That's pretty good for me. Yeah, so then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a little shifter or an 8mm spanner, and that little nut there, we've just got to nip all up so then it won't come loose midway through a race, and then we're gonna have a really nice clutch. But once that's done, we're gonna get on and replace these crusty old carby hoses with some nice red ones. Okay, so this is the new carby hose. It's all the right size and everything. It's a very nice red. We'll set it there. Compared to these old see-through pink ones, this shit's way better. But we're gonna have to cut it all down to size, and then like they've done here, we gotta split the ends so they don't clog up. But the reason I'm replacing them is because they've gone all hard and crusty. Like, I'll pop this one off and show you. They don't actually bend anymore. They just bloody snap. So like, I'll stick it in there. Yeah, they're just buggered. So we're gonna replace it with this nice red stuff, and then it's gonna look good with the red radiator hoses and chain slider, and it's just gonna add a bit more color to the engine bay. But I think it's gonna look epic. Okay, so we've popped the carby out and we've got 2 hoses on. They look so bloody good. We're gonna do the rest now. Have a look at how much better that looks. That is so much better than all of these crusty old crappy hoses. This looks awesome. We're gonna hit it with a bit of carb cleaner rag just to get the little marks I got on there off, and then we're gonna put it back in and see how it looks. Okay, so it's all put back together. It looks so good. Come around this side and have a look. Red radiator hoses, overflow lines, see them out the bottom there. It just looks so bloody good. I love it. But anyways, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put this little oil filler cap on, and then we got a radiator cap. I'm not sure if you can really see, but old one's the seal on it's buggered, so we've got to put those 2 on and the seat back on, and then I'm not sure what we'll do after that, but we might start putting a couple more plastics on. Alright, so new radiator cap's on. Now it's time to do this oil filler cap. So pretty much you just got to unscrew it and then replace it. But I've got to find out what... Oh, so now I'll find out. Looks like they're using the bigger seal. So put my tripod base down, put my camera a bit. Alright, so they give you 2 seals in their kit. We'll open it up. Now I've got to find the correct seal, and from what I can see, they're using the big seal. So basically you grab your filler cap. I use the Ballard's ones, I really like them. But then you just wiggle your seal all the way down, just like that, and then it's ready to put on. So it has a 13mm cap or a hole that you can put a screwdriver through, as you can see there. So I'll screw this in if I bloody can. There we go. Beautiful. Now, anyways, SD card went flat there, so grab your 13mm spanner, you sit it on top like that, and they don't need to go super tight. Get on there, there we go. But I do them a bit tight, just so you don't lose them. There we go. And look at how nice that looks. Everything's coming together so nice on the bike. We got red rad hoses, oil filler cap, overflow lines, chain slider. It just looks so nice. But anyways, what I think we're going to do now is we're going to put the front fender, rear fender, and the number plates on, because I can't polish. I want to polish the frame up and the engine to make it look a lot better, but I can't do that until I get the rear wheel back from town so I can roll it outside, because the polish absolutely stinks. So we're just going to put a couple plastics on for the minute, and then we'll see what else, other parts we got to go on it. Okay, so we got the rear number plates. I did take the graphics off just because it wasn't my number or my name, so I'll run plain plastics for the minute. Here's the front number plate. I don't know why that's down there, but front number plate. And then we're going to go rear fender, and we're going to have to dig the front fender out of there in a minute. But that used to be the graphics on it. But if you look at my Instagram, we've got the new custom kit we're throwing on there. But for the minute, we're just going to have to throw old plastics back on there so it is rideable. Now, these here are quite expensive, the airbox covers. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to put tape over it so I don't damage it, because graphics do go on there. Now, this is like the only heavy duty grippy tape that I could get, and it's Watch Your Step. Believe it or not, I actually run it on the frame of my 150 Watch Your Step. I think it's pretty cool, but we're just going to throw that on there so we don't mark all those for the minute. Front fender, number plates, we're going to put all them on, and I'll meet you back when I got all the plastics. Okay, so quick little tip. As you can see here on the side plates, there's this little black part that looks like it should be an inlet to the airbox. They seal this up from factory. These are the stock plastics. But with 2 Phillips head screws, you can take that off and get more air to the engine. So I'm going to pull those off quickly and put the rest of the plastics on. So we got most of the plastics on. We got rear fender, side plates. Now, they are really filthy. I cleaned all the inside of them up with a bit of carb clean from all the old 2-stroke exhaust, how it leaves the black mark and stuff. I cleaned up, so that's all this stuff, and I've got it on my hand. So we're going to clean the plastics right down, because I will be running these until I get the new graphics from MX and Graphics. Front fender and number plate are both on. Once again, dirty. So we're just going to give them a quick clean up so they look decent, and then we're going to put a fresh air filter in it. We've got the old plastics on, gave them a little clean up. Looks really good now that they're clean. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to tape that stuff up, the airbox covers, and then we're going to put a fresh air filter in there. You know me, I was going to put the Watch Your Step tape on there. I had to get it to line up. So we got Watch Your Step and Watch Your Step. I really like it. I think it looks pretty cool. Unique. Obviously it's gone off once we get the graphics, but now it's time to do the air filter. So I haven't put the seat belts in yet. Seat comes off. See it there. Now, it's not like on the KTMs where you can just pull the thing off. It's same with the 150s, same design. You've got to pull the seat off and then access it from the top here. Now, I've just put a dirty one in there for the time being from when I first got it. Just an old Motor X one for the 150, because they're sort of compatible. Now, we've got another Motor X one, and we've also got a funnel web one. So I'm trying to decide between which one I want on there. I'm probably going to go funnel web just because they are a better air filter. But it is pretty straightforward taking it off. You've got this one butterfly bolt right there. And basically you just want to screw it off. It's a bit time consuming. Worst part of bike maintenance for me is doing this. I hate it so much, but it is what it is. A couple more threads. There we go. Alright, so that's our butterfly bolt. Sit it up there. Now our air filter comes out. So we got our little frame. That's the old one. Sit it there for the minute. We are going to use some brake cleaner or carby clean and just clean this whole airbox up, because it is actually pretty dirty. It's not ridiculously bad. Usually I would leave it, but I'm rebuilding the bike completely, so I don't want to skimp out on stuff. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab some brake cleaner and clean that up, and then we're going to throw the new air filter in there. It cleaned up quite well, better than I was expecting. We got all around the air filter where it sits on, all these sidewalls. Now those are actually marks, so I can't get them off, but we're replacing all the plastics anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. I just want to get it looking half decent. But we did clean it up pretty well. So now we're going to grab the funnel web air filter. Yes, we're going to do the funnel web. So we've got to, here, let me open this. We're tricky doing this with one hand. Anyways, that actually looks really nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to spray it up with some air filter oil, take the old one off, and put it on, get it ready to go. So fresh funnel web air filter in there. actually looks really nice in there. Got it all oiled up nicely. We've just got to sit this seat back on top. Just clip it in, sit it down. Now we're going to put the bolts in, and then I'm not sure what we're going to do, but we do still have a couple more things to do on it before the graphics, and we can get it outside to polish it up. So we're going to bolt this seat down and then do a couple more things. Okay, so yes, it is the next day, but we've got the tyre back from town. I didn't do too much to the bike, I just tidied it up a little bit. Looks good. Got a little bag of goodies, just bolts, washers, just to replace the old ones. So tyres back, we got the Dunlop MX-34 on there. It looks awesome. Bloody meaty ass tyre, I love it. So now we've got to put the new sprocket on there. We've just got to bolt that down, and then we're putting the wheels back on the bike. Okay, so we did get, I had enough of these spare Allen key bolts for the sprocket. See if I can get this one out already, and there we go. So I had enough of these. They're an 8mm head, which is a bit weird, but I got new lock washers, spring washers, whatever you want to call them, and then nylon nuts. So these here were the old setup. They had flat washers and just nylon nuts, but it's supposed to have a spring washer from what I can tell on all my other bikes. So what I've done is I've just gotten a lock washer because it doesn't hurt. And then I've gone around, and I'll see, not sure if you can exactly see, we've got one that I've already done, but we've just gone around and put them all on. So now we're going to put the last one on, and then we're going to go around and we're going to tighten it all up. Okay, so we just tightened the bolts up. Not just tighten them, sorry. We've just got to tighten them, but they've just done up snug now. So we've got a 3/8 torque wrench, and then it's 13mm. So it's an 8mm spanner that goes on top of there. Not spanner, Allen key. I'll grab it now. I've got it sitting on that, but that's an 8mm for you. Fits in there beautifully. And then it's a 13mm nut on the bottom side. So we're going to torque these up, get them nice and tight, and then we're going to put the wheel on the bike. Okay, so sprocket's all torqued down. Looks really, really nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it on the bike now, and then we're going to put the front wheel on. Nearly forgot. Got to put brake pads in first. So I haven't actually looked at these yet. So we've got the brake pads. It's looking like it's going to be that 8mm bolt there, and there's none at the rear. So it's just that 8mm bolt. And then it's just gonna, that pin there's gonna pop out, and then the brake pads are gonna slide down and out. So we'll take those off quickly and replace them. So that there's the new brake pads, obviously. And then these ones here are the old ones. If you look, they've actually got bugger all wear on them. Put them side by side here. Yeah, they're worn a little bit, but not much. So that's pretty cool. And those should still be the stock brake pads. So that's really cool that it hasn't even been used that much really. So we're gonna pop these ones in, got our little casings there, pop them all in, clip them in, bolt it up, and then the wheel goes on. So I'll meet you back when we got the wheel on. Okay, so not super ideal, but these chain adjusters slash rear axle adjusters, this one here was completely rusted in there. So what I've done is I've grabbed a 12mm socket, this one here, sat it over the top, and I just completely rattled the fuck out of it until it came out. Then I WD-40'd the threads and the nut inside there, and I just worked it back and forth a couple times. Now it's running super smooth. But this one here isn't super bad, but it's still pretty seized in there. So what I do is you grab a 12mm, if I can bloody do it, 12mm socket on a drill I use. You can use a ratchet, but this here just works it free a bit easier. There we go, that one wasn't even that bad. And then you just WD-40 the threads, and then you just work it back and forth. But the nut isn't the bad one, the bolt itself is. So the bolt itself is a 10mm, so 10mm goes on there, and then like I said, it is really bad. So we're gonna WD-40 a bit more. Just let it soak in, but I'll let that soak for a minute and then I'll meet you back once I got it all sorted. Alright, we let it soak for a minute. We did rattle that bolt out after moving it back and forwards a couple times. Now that nut in there is rusty, like the threads in there, so you just hit it with a bit of WD, grab your bolt, and I'm just going to hand thread it in there for a second. And then what I like to do with these when this happens is basically you just want to work it back and forth. But now you can see it is super smooth. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put the back wheel on, and we're going to tighten up the rear axle and get it ready to move outside to polish. Back wheel is on. Now I'm going to take a break for a bit and I'm going to go riding, but when I get back we'll be putting the front wheel on and taking it outside to polish the rest of the frame, because as you can see, sure it's nice and shiny, but it can be way better. We're going to polish the swing arm, the frame, the bloody engine clutch cover, and then we're also going to polish that cover there, the frame. So it is actually going to turn up really, really nice, but even that red sprocket on the back, it just looks so good. It's just coming together so nicely. It's starting to look like a bike again. So front wheel still has to go on, but after that, outside and we're polishing. I'll see you when I get back from riding. So we're back from riding. We've got the front wheel on. We swapped the brake pads out. Sorry I didn't film any of it. Mum and Dad were here giving me a hand, so I just got the hand while I had it. But we've got the wheel on now, so we're going to take it outside and we're going to polish the frame and the engine. Alright, the bike's outside. We got the polishing stuff. A little bit of a before look here. Got the frame on this side. This side here was the better side. The clutch cover and valve. Swing arm. This side of the frame. Clutch cover. Swing arm. So we're going to polish it right up, make it look really good. So I'm going to do a quick time lapse of me doing it, and then I'll show you the after. Okay, so the other side's done. Now it's this side. This side here was the worst side, so we polished it. This is the first round. I haven't even looked at it yet. Oh, doesn't look too bad. I'm not too worried about up there though, because it's all hidden behind the shroud, so it's not major. But look at that. That is so nice. I'm going to go over all this again and get it 10 times better, but then we're moving on to the engines. Frame is done. Have a look at how good that looks. See the reflection. It's bloody awesome. So now we're going to polish this thing here and the valve. Look at how good that looks. Now it didn't come up like mirror finish, but it's still very nice. Same with that valve. This side here, the clutch cover. That came up mirror finish. Very nice. So what we're going to do now is we're going to polish up this swing arm and make it look a whole lot better. So it's all polished. Have a look at how nice it is. Bam. Just hit it with a bit of brake cleaner on the plastics and a rag just to clean it all up, but holy moly, looks so good. Anyways, we're going to take it back inside now. We've got to put fork guards on, radiator guards, that little mud flappy thing, shrouds, and a couple other parts. But after that, we're riding. Got to put a chain on too. But after that, we're riding it. So exciting. CR is inside. Right now, we've got to throw the chain on it. I've got an RHK O-ring race chain that's gold. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw that on and adjust the rear end up to make it right. Alright, chain is on the bike. Actually looks really, really nice. So now we've just got to trim it down to size. Where is it gone? I did just have it. Anyways, we've got... Oh my god, never mind. Alright, chain's on the bike. We've just got to trim it down to size now because it is too long. I've got this little chain cutter. Super handy. And then here's the master link. So we're going to measure it up, cut the chain, connect it up, and I'll meet you back at that. New chain is on. It looks so good. So now we're going to put the shrouds on. Actually, we'll put that little mud guard on first, and then we'll put the shrouds on. New one is on there. That's the old one. It's cracked, buggered. Go over there with the old parts. Now, it must be a little bent up here from packing, because what happened is, I'll take this out, you can see, it sits off the swing arm a bit, and I know that's normal, but it was sticking off a lot more before. So what I've done is I just jam per Nipex down in there, and then that holds it flush against the swing arm, and it's going just to mold it back. So that's what I'm hoping. I've put a little bit of heat on there just to hopefully bend it back a bit, but new chains on, mud guard. Now we're just going to put the old shrouds on, which are over there. Shroud 1. Right, shroud 1 is on. Time for shroud 2. Shroud 2 is on. Actually looks like a bike again. So now what we're going to do is we are going to put the fork guards on and hook this brake line up to the fork guard so it's not rubbing on the tyre anymore. Okay, fork guards are on. They look so good. Now we've got this little Zeta front brake holder, so we've got to get that zip tie off, and then the brake line, if I can get it unhooked off the tyre, is going to go right there like that. So we're going to do that now. Brake clamp is on. Looks so good. Front end actually looks good now. So we don't have many parts left to put on. We got to slip these radiator shrouds in, and then we've got a whole shot device to put on, but we're not doing that until the graphics. So we're just going to pop these radiator shrouds in, and she's done for the minute. And then we get graphics, new plastics, whole shot device, and a couple other little parts. There's not tons left to do, so this is super exciting. The CR is raceable now. So unfortunately, after opening these up, they're the wrong louvers, wrong radiator guards. They're for an RM125, even though they were listed as a CR. We might send them back, or else just get a new pair. I'll talk to mum and dad, but only thing I can really do to get them on there is zippy tie them. None of the holes line up or anything. So I'm not sure whether that was my mistake or the seller's mistake, but they were listed as CR125 louvers, so I'm not exactly sure. We do still have the old ones. They're still usable. They're fine. Just needs a zippy tie putting in that one there just to reinforce it, but just a bit disappointing really. So yeah. Anyways guys, that's the end of episode 3. So hope you enjoyed it. I know I definitely enjoyed making it and working on the bike. The bike came up awesome. We polished the frame. We got it all back in running condition. Soon enough, I'm going to be putting some videos of me riding this up, but just be sure to check the YouTube channel out and you'll definitely see them. Can't exactly put any videos of me riding it in this video. It's already starting to get a bit long, but that's the end of it. End of episode 3. Come back for episode 4. We're going to be putting graphics, fresh plastics, whole shot device, couple other parts on. That there's going to be the final episode, but is what it is. The bike is looking so good. Just look at it. It looks beautiful. It's going to look a million times better with graphics. Oh, need to put those down. But holy moly, it just looks too good. So a couple of the parts we've put on there is we've put a Vertex piston and gasket kit in there. We've put these red rad hoses, RHK chain slider, super sprocket front and rear, Dunlop tyres, Renthal handlebars, SPP lever, SPP engine oil cover, filler, bark busters, hour meter, pro circuit exhaust, R304 shorty, and then the works expansion chamber, funnel web air filter. And once again, massive thank you to Ghost Racewear, Twist Moto and MX Inc Graphics for sponsoring this build.